Hello Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for Blue Exorcist Chapter 116.5. In case last chapter's half page count did not make it clear, that was only the first half of Chapter 116, so now we have the second half this month. So when we last left our heroes, things were kind of going to shit in the birthing room. Yukio was born, and they finally got him to start crying. No one seemingly noticed the very clear blue flame in his eye, because no one commented on it. Also, Rin, I think, killed the paladin, but then Mephisto showed up to try to do things his way now, and that's where we jump in Chapter 116, Part 2, SSC 2317G, same title as last month. And we see this multi-tiered crater with Rin at the center from where the Paladin's final attack was, and I think somehow the knockback killed him or something. That was a little vague to me last time. Take a look at that. And we see Rin in the center, and so we see there's this little blade-looking thing out of Baby Rin. Even the Paladin's sword, Tisona, cannot destroy the heart of Satan's child. So we see an entry, maybe, and an exit, but the heart itself is, safe. I think it's kind of hard to see. And if I were to fight it, the result would be an even greater calamity than what we're facing now. However, and he turns back to Shiro, the Coma Sword just might work. But I heard it was empty. And Shiro has the Coma Sword, and he walks up to Mephisto, which is why it's perfect. 150 years ago, I made that sword and gave it to a young monk. That was the beginning of the Mio-Da sect. Hold on, I thought the Mio-Da sect came from the Impure King. Right? Or was... That doesn't sound like it adds up with the history we got way back in the Impure King arc. Because I thought it came about from the sealing of the Impure King, not from the Coma Sword. Unless the Coma Sword was tied to the Impure King's history. It's been a long time, I can't quite remember. Anyway, Shiro just is like, seriously? Yes, you can trust me on that. Yeah, right. Okay, that seemed a little fishy, though, that you can trust me on that. Oh well, no one knows how to defeat Satan's child, but I'll see what I can do. And he turns back to the other exorcists. You're dismissed. And he turns to another one. Give me the highest level of defense. Yes, sir. Gird yourself with truth, armor your breast with righteousness, don the helm of prayer, raise the shield of faith, and take up the sword of soul. And we see as a little blessing that's coming down on Shiro. Shiro, we hear Yuri. Don't do this. He's probably just defending himself and us. Just go and leave us alone. I'm begging you. And Shiro glares at her. Not happening. Finally, it's my turn, and he draws the Coma Sword out of its sheath. Hey, the scabbard is important too! Oh, he just so Shiro kind of yeets the Coma Sword behind his back. But Mephisto picks it up. And present-day Rin is watching all this. We see a hooded guy behind Mephisto, who is Rin. Father Fujimoto. And we see... Rin is ready to, pounce at Fujimoto. Fujimoto's got the sword in one hand and his pistol in another, and he shoots at Rin. It hits the ground and kind of bounces around the crater, I think. It's kind of hard to tell. But at some point, or maybe it's Rin that's bouncing around the crater. I'm not entirely sure. But at some point, Rin comes and lunges at Fujimoto. Fujimoto jumps out of the way, kind of does a roll. And Rin is now up in the air and dashes down at him. Makes another crater right where Fujimoto was. He's kind of sent flying. I'm trying to he's kind of sideways there. All right. And Rin, growls at him again. Shiro, Zuxo Plexora Circaeus Piloto Europa Eudora. Yeah. So they're summoning some minor demons, I think. And Rin comes again at Fujimoto, but he doesn't quite seem to make it. Maybe he's unleashed some kind of beam or something. It's kind of vague there. No! And just then, the kind of, I guess a water demon that they've summoned. Countless daughters of Oceanus, we beseech your presence. Oceanid's water cell. And it kind of looks like I don't know. There's something vaguely humanoid going on near the bottom, but there's also this really big blob thing up top. I can't make heads or tails of it. And it looks like it kind of floods out the room. Both Rin and Mephisto are underwater. Is what the noise that Rin makes is like the water overtakes his lungs. Now! Die! And then he, like, sticks the coma sword into Rin's heart. And we see this, like... So Fujimoto has successfully pierced Rin's heart with the coma sword. And the Rin is, in clear pain, and this sphere of water that they're in just kind of explodes with force. Everyone's kind of, like, hit by the water, but Shiro, like, falls down to the ground with the heart still pierced by the sword. It's past your bedtime, boy! Grrr! And Rin is also screaming. They're both screaming a lot. And Fujimoto notices something that shocks him. What the? The heart went into the sword? So yeah, that kind of sets up the beginning of the series, which Mephisto definitely knew about, right? Because earlier in the chapter, Fujimoto has that line, but what would the coma sword do? It's empty. And Mephisto is like, yeah, that's why it'll work. So Mephisto is definitely planning this for a long time. Bingo! That's because the sword is kind of a door to anywhere. Anywhere? I also missed this part. The sword has gone, like, flying out of Fujimoto's hands after stealing Rin's heart and back to the scabbard. The hilt leads to Gehenna. The scabbard is the door. And together they have the power to seal a demon in Gehenna. And now Baby Rin starts crying. And Fujimoto just kind of looks down at it. Oh dear. It appears that sealing the demon heart has separated the child from its demonic nature. Does that mean he's human now? No. He is still both human and demon. Also, here's an interesting tidbit. I'm not exactly familiar with newborns. I don't have a lot of experience with them. But I think they're larger than 2 hands, right? Because we saw this both with Yukio the past few chapters, and Rin here. Like, he can cup Baby Rin in both his hands and still have plenty of room on the hands. So I'm not entirely sure how that's working. If somehow they're, like, developmentally stunted or something and they didn't grow as much in the womb as they're supposed to, again, pre-birth development is not my specialty. Anyway, no, he is still both human and demon. Then we should kill him now while, supposing we did, what would happen, Paladin? Without destruction of the heart, the demon would return. And the seal is just a seal. It will not last forever. I thought the Paladin was dead. I thought that was what Mephisto said last month, right? The Paladin was destroyed, and now it's up to Mephisto's turn to take over, right? Let me see if I can find that in a prompt manner. Let's see. Yeah, so is the Paladin's been annihilated, he says. Right? The Paladin's been annihilated is his line right here at the end of 116. But then he asks the Paladin again, what would happen, Paladin? Maybe he meant that more metaphorically? I'm not sure. Anyway, where was I? Without destruction of the heart, the demon would return, and the seal is just a seal. It will not last forever. The only option is to keep the flesh in a semi-permanent state of perpetual destruction. But it is human. Such cruel treatment would lead to unfathomable psychological scarring. Do you want to create a second Satan or Lucifer? No, of course not. Indeed. So in order to prevent that, let us return the child to his mother's arms. And he hands Rin back to Yuri. Sir Fellas, thank you. And we see she, like, cradles her two sons. Do not bother thanking me, for yet another threat comes. And just then the Paladin goes, ugh, and I can't quite tell what he's doing. I suspect he kind of, like, curls in on himself in pain. And Shiro turns to look at him. And he's burning alive. Probably blue flame, because it's Blue Exorcist, of course. And all of the paladin and his, like, guys are burning up. Gah! Blue flame? Didn't I seal the heart? This is not the work of the child. No, it can't be. And he turns to look at the paladin. The paladin! And he's also kind of burning up, bleeding out of his eyes. And he reaches out. Father! And he turns to Mephisto with that line, Father. Alright. I think I might have seen some theories that this paladin is one of the Mephisto clones from Section 13. I'm not sure if I'm just misremembering something. I don't know. But he slumps over. This body can take it. So now we finally see the end of the Blue Knight. Satan has found his host, and it's the paladin Abel, I think is his name. And he looks at everyone else. So this is where you were. Yuri! Shiro! Satan. And now Yuri's just like openly like streaming tears. I found you! Ha! Ha ha ha! And we see Shiro's already started aiming his gun. Oh, I get it now. I suspected as much. So that's how it is, huh, Yuri? You two-faced bitch! I'm sorry, I couldn't stay with you, and that must have hurt. But look at what we did. You're a father now. And Satan pauses. What is that lump of meat? Ha! Is that gonna fill my hungry belly? Ha! Ha! You're the one I want! Ah, 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 ah. Shiro! Surrender to me! And Shiro's still just like pointing the pistol at him. Give me that body! And Satan like grabs Shiro by the head. Ha! 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 You're not like the others. I guess this won't be easy after all. This reminds me of the old days. At the time I did not understand, but I do now. I always wanted to become human. What? The Rinka that Yuri saw? It's no mere Rinka. I bewitched her. So I think they're in some kind of, like, weird vision state now, I think. Because I don't think this conversation is a flashback. There's only one way you can prevent forced possession. It's temporary, but you can drive it away. At this rate, Yuri is in danger. Okumura. Wait, what? Oh no, I know what this is. This is a flashback to the night the warehouse burned down, where Yuri's like foster parents were. Oh shit. Because it's the old lady, Obaba I think was her name. There's only one way you can prevent forced possession. It's temporary, but you can drive it away. At this rate, Yuri's in danger. Okumura. Which means that does Rin and Yukio get their last names from what was his name again? The old guy from the beginning of SSC, way back when, like a year and a half ago. I don't remember. But anyway, so the old guy, he pulls out a pocket knife, puts it up to his throat, and slashes his own jugular. And then he bleeds out, but it failed. Yuri. The old man slit his own throat, and that was quite a shock. I don't remember much, but it sure took a while to recover from their interference. But nothing goes right on the first try, right? Ha 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 ha. And now she finally... So Yuri's also listening to this, and she realizes that they died, her parents died, or her foster figures, whatever they are, died, because of Satan. So, this is very much not, in case it was not perfectly clear, I think the Satan we've seen so far, you can still like kind of argue maybe could fit into the same mold of anime Satan. At this point, that's out the window. So Yuri's just like watching this. Nico, Obaba, Oku, ha ha ha. Actually, that was a necessary failure. Necessary for reaching my true vessel. So I guess you just called him Oku and never said the Murat part that would have given it away. I want to be you because Yuri loved you. And now we get to the weird thing that Blue Exorcist does sometimes, where only half a panel is fully shaded in. And it's like a weird part of the panel to be shaded in. Like, the focus of this panel here is clearly on Shiro and Satan, but theirs, like, super sketchy, whereas Yuri's, like, fully, like, shaded in. I don't know, it's a random thing. I envy you. I burn with jealousy, and it frustrates me, because you stole her from me. No, you did, and so did you. Heh heh. You and me, we're no different. What? Come on, admit it. We are the same. I don't know what exactly any of this page right here means. Like, how are they the same? That no, you did is kind of feels like, you know, the scene in Revenge of the Sith on Mustafar, where Anakin has the whole, you know, you took Padme away from me, and Obi-Wan says, no, you did that yourself. I think that's kind of the vibe Shiro has there, but I don't know. Anyway, come on, admit it. We are the same. And at that point, Satan, like, departs from the Paladin. The Paladin's body burns up, and he enters Shiro. Shiro! And Shiro, like, comes out through Satan. Who's the same as who? What? I thought I possessed you. Even if I was the same as you. And he puts his pistol up to his throat. No, don't! Oh no, it's a blade, and he slits his throat just like Okumura did. I'd rather die, you bastard! Next chapter hits January 6th. And yeah, that's the end of 116.5. This feels like a lot longer than a half chapter, which is a good thing, and a lot of good shit happens here. And it shows that we are finally getting to the end of this, like, 17-chapter flashback. Though again, it took a break in the middle. So yeah, Shiro has seemingly killed himself. That clearly won't stay the case, because we know Shiro does not die for another 15 years. But yeah, he slits his throat in the exact same way Okumura does in this short little flashback. So yeah, where to begin? Where to begin with a chapter like this? I was a little shocked at how fast Sealing Rin went. Especially given it's kind of been the focus for, like, ever since we got back to SSC, has just been, like, focused on Sealing Rin. Actually, even before we left the flashback, we were focusing on Sealing Rin, because that's what got Rin in such a state after he went back to the present. So I was a little shocked that it went so fast. But still, it's done, so we can start with the real final act of this flashback, and that is dealing with Satan, who has killed the Paladin and is now inside Shiro. There is this really weird moment of "you're just like me" that I don't really buy. Like, I buy that Shiro and Yuri have some kind of attraction going on there, and I buy that would make Satan jealous of Shiro. I get all that. Is once you start saying "you are me" and all that, you and me were one and the same or whatever, that I don't quite understand. Maybe someone could elaborate on that in the comments. Maybe next chapter we'll go into more detail on that. I'm not sure. But either way, Shiro is deciding, much like Okumura in the past, like 25 years ago, to kill himself rather than let Satan possess him for good. So yeah, it's, for all the stuff that happens, it's not that, it doesn't feel like there's all that much to talk about, in a weird way. Besides the reveal that it was Satan who was responsible for the warehouse burning down way back when. Also, I'm not sure, so it's clear to me at this point that by the time Rin was born, the Coma Sword and sealing Rin away was always Mephisto's plan. I'm not entirely sure how long that plan has been in play. There is a theory that's been going around of a constant time loop. And so Mephisto's been doing all this over and over again to get it right. Though that's still very much in the conjecture stages, so I don't know what all to say about that. Where was I going with that? But like, what exactly is Mephisto's plan with Rin? I think because we've had kind of vague, oh, Rin has power, I guess, because, he's the son of Satan and all that. But also, like, what are the details? What exactly is Mephisto's end goal? Mephisto's a character shrouded in so much mystery that his end goal is still kind of unclear. So I don't know how close we are to ever finding that out, because we're so far from the end of the series, I think. So yeah, I'm not really sure what exactly all of this means, what exactly Mephisto's plans are, how Shiro is going to survive slitting his own throat. But we'll have to wait until next year, next decade, next chapter's the fucking 20s. Holy shit. So anyway, I'm going to leave this video off here. Hope you all enjoyed the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to me a like or subscribe or, do whatever makes you happy, And remember, your life is your own, okay? Bye!